How is my virtual audience today? Boy, have I got a good one for you. I am so busy, I can't get my own projects done, so I'll do everybody else's. Oh boy. Today, I've got a 4L80E on the rack. This is brought to me by a customer. Doesn't have the slightest clue, anything about it, mileage or anything else otherwise. So he asked me if I'd tear it down, check it out, and see what he needed to do. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. This should go pretty quick. I'm not going to go into all the craziness, but we will figure out what the issue is, if any, with this transmission and what he needs for a rebuild to go behind his OBS Chevy with a 6.0 LS in it. So let's go ahead and knock this thing out quick. If you do hear sirens in the background, it's because we've just been getting pummeled here with tornadoes. Last week we had 6 tornadoes, all on the ground at the same time. Today, we had, I don't know if they were straight line winds or what the hell they were, but they were ripping roofs off of buildings and everything else. So you get what you get in March around here. So anyway, let's go ahead and gear up, knock this thing out. Alright, let's pull this pan off here first. That requires a 10mm. Let's zip this bad boy off. See if we can't get a mess going on the floor. Throw down one of these puffy pads. I'll tell you what. If you can't afford pig mats, the way around it, and then you go to puffy pads from pig mats. So anyway, all right, let's go. Bring it down below. The pan actually looks really good. That may or may not be a good inclination. It could always mean, hey, we just changed the fluid. Not sure if it moved or not, but we changed the fluid anyway. Always a last ditch effort sometimes. So pop the filter off. There is 0 sediment in this pan. And the only sediment that's in there is from the dirt that we knocked off pulling the pan down. But check this out. There is 0 sediment in there. I don't know what's going on. It could be a miracle. I mean, you never know. Alright, let's go ahead and get the torque converter clutch thing done. Let's get the force motor unplugged. Undo all the little connectors. Get the manifold pressure switch popped off of here. That one's always kind of a little tricky because there's not a whole lot of room to work. Alright. We got solenoids down below. Shift solenoids rather. Top those off. And then we've got our temperature sensor that'll just kind of dangle while we work here. One thing you want to look for is to see if there's any transmission fluid that has bled through the case connector. That's always a telltale sign. And then you get fluid on the pins on the outside, and it can be troublesome. Alright, well, okay, here we go. Wiring harness is disconnected. We have some 8mm bolts here. We've got some 10s around the outside. I'm going to wipe my hands because I don't want my drill all gross. Go ahead and let her drain. There goes the balls. Okay. Downshift band solenoid there. See if we can't get our reverse band solenoid cover off. Well, I know that we can, but here we go. Oh yeah. Juicy. Juicy. Pop that bad boy out of there. Check to see if we got a broken spring on our first accumulator, which we do not. Get our T27, which is the wrong size. Don't get your T27. Fuck. Use a 40. If you screw that up, you can probably get an Allen head in there, knock that thing free too. Let's extract the pump. Alright, let's lift this O-ring off of the input shaft here, otherwise you'll never get your pump off. We'll go ahead and set that to the side. Make sure that it is not flattened out, dry and brittle. I recommend always replacing those. We'll go ahead and gently lift the pump out. Wiggle it free with our pry bar. And then we'll go ahead and lift her up out here. Thing's got some mass to it. Set it over here on the table. Alright, next up, go ahead and grab the input shaft. We'll lift this assembly on out of here. Make sure to check that planet for wear on the gears. This is your coast clutch. Set this over here to the side. And next out will be fourth gear. Pull that out, set that over here, and then reach in here, pull out the forward drum, set that over here. Check to make sure, you know, that it's still there. Alright, go ahead and reach down in here and grab a hold of that direct drum, which is third gear. And there she is. It's got the roller clutch on the back side. Set that down over here. And then we will go ahead and grab the coast band out of there. So that's your deceleration band. Set that on the side. Get ourselves a pliers and pull out the snap ring for the intermediate clutch set, which is second gear. This snap ring here is upgradable because it is pretty flimsy in a stock 4L80E. You can get a fresh one out of the Transgo shift kit. This is our intermediate clutch. It's a 4 clutch and a 4L80E. And that doesn't look too terribly bad. Yeah, looks okay. For a transmission with unknown mileage, you never know what you'll find. So, next up, we'll go ahead and pull the center support snap ring out of here. Kind of pop that free. This is a beveled snap ring, and it does have some tension to it, so it takes a little bit of effort to get it out of there. And once you do, well, and just pull her out, take a look at her. Yep, that's a snap ring. Beveled side goes up when you put it back in the case. Set that over here. And then we will break free that 12.38 bolt that's down here. That's our center support bolt. And you won't be able to lift the middle of the rear gear assembly out without taking out the rear transcooler feed port. So make sure you pull that out of there. It's a 19 millimeter, and make sure that you don't replace the rear feed with a front feed, because that will not fare very well for you. So remember, the one with the extended section goes first in the rear, and then we'll go ahead and grab our locking pliers, put it around the output shaft of the transmission here from the inside, and get ready for the big reveal. And we'll reposition you here, make sure we get you good on it. Out she comes. All right, that thing's got some mass to it too. We'll just set it here over on the table. Undo our locking pliers. Grab a hand towel. Now the case is bare. Nothing left in there except for the reverse band, which looked good, by the way. There's the valve body down there, and we will get ready to take a look at all these components individually. Get you guys set up with me here so you can see better. Alrighty. So, first up, go ahead and take fourth gear apart. Get you situated here so you can get in on all the action. There's a snap ring here at the top. Just go ahead and set that free. Doesn't take much effort on this one. Comes out pretty readily. Just boing, out she comes. All right. I'll take a peek at these clutches here. Oh yeah, they don't look too bad. About what you'd expect from a transmission with unknown mileage. Got a couple of hot spots in them, but I mean, fourth gear with a load behind you can do that. So, yeah. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4 clutches here. Not too scabby. Go ahead and set that to the side. And then on to the next clutch pack here. Grab a hold of our intermediate or second gear clutches and take a look at those. Don't look to be in too bad of condition. Set those down. Next up, go ahead and grab the forward drum. And what you want to do is you want to take a look down inside there. and make sure that the input shaft hasn't eaten away at the drum itself, otherwise you'll need a replacement. Right there, I'm showing you the input shaft, and with a bad bushing in there, it will eat away pretty good at the input drum. And normally what you'll find is a burnt up clutch pack in the forward drum if that happens, because the sealing rings don't seal. So we'll pop this snap ring out of here and we'll take a look. Doesn't look to be in too bad a condition. Pull that clutch hub out of there, and then we'll go ahead and turn this upside down and get all the clutches out. There they are, and even the wavy plate too. So we'll take a look at these quick. They look to be in pretty good condition, and they're a high energy clutch, so they're dark to begin with, but these are not burnt up. So we'll go ahead and set that to the side. And then we got our direct drum, which is third gear in reverse. We'll pop this snap ring out of here with the wrong tool. And then we'll go ahead and set that down and come back with a thinner screwdriver. And out she comes pretty easily. There we are. No big deal. Set that down. Turn it over, dump the clutches out in my hand. And this one also has a wavy cushion apply plate. Set that down in there, and we'll take a look at the clutches. I did notice that this clutch pack had some heat cracks in it, but they were not slipping on the steels, so kind of showing myself that, rubbing it with my thumb, talking about it here. I lost my audio on my GoPro, so that's why I'm voiceovering. So we'll go ahead and set that over here, and we'll go ahead and move that forward drum over here, set the snap rings in, and then we'll go ahead and talk about this front planet assembly. And this is where your overdrive sprag sits on the other side of this planet. You want to make sure your planets don't have any rock in them, and that the planetary gear set spins one way and stops the other. We'll go ahead and pull apart this lower gear set here, and we will take off this talk about the planet here. Make sure you don't have any rock in your planetaries, and always replace your sprag that sits in here. Check for bushing wear. Pull your sun gear shaft out, check those bushings. Looks pretty good to me. This thing had been rebuilt at one time or another, and I'm not exactly sure when, but they did do a good job. And then your sun gear, check that for any wear, chipping, or anything on the gear set. So alright, that pretty much does it for that. And then we will go ahead, set that to the side, and bring our pump over and tear that down. See what we got on the inside of that bad boy. Get our 13 millimeter, knock those bolts out with our quarter inch Milwaukee impact gun. That thing's pretty strong. I like that. Alright, take the stator half, take a look at the surface on that, make sure that it's not eaten into by the pump rotor. And this one looks pretty damn good. Nice and smooth. No wear marks in it, so we can definitely reuse that. We can pull out our gears of the pump half, check them for wear visually. This one looks pretty good. That one seats on your torque converter, and this next one stays stationary in your pump half. And if you can hang the two together, that makes a pretty good pump gear. So, got the old fast hands out there to catch that from falling. And then we'll just go ahead and check visually for wear on this. And then naturally on your stator half, or I'm sorry, your pump half, you put your gears in, you can mic down to them and check for clearance. So I think we have a pretty good transmission. I didn't see any failures in this one. Always replace your bushing in your pump. This one's whack. You can see here that it's been eaten away on one side. Lots of wear on it. So also replace your stator bushings too, because those do see some wear, and you got the pump apart already. So that's a pretty good looking transmission that he picked up out of the junkyard. Someone had taken good care of it, and it'll serve this gentleman with a couple of upgrades, some freshening up. It'll serve him well for the time that he ends up using. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching. That concludes our teardown of our 4L80E. I hope you enjoyed watching that and learned a little bit along the way. Like I said, it wasn't a full information video, but it was just fun to see what's inside one and tear one down. So, as always, we appreciate your loyalty and showing up every week to watch, and have yourselves a wonderful Easter.